Welcome to UPSCpractice.com. Let's read an article on the Hindu Widows Remarriage Act of 1856. The Hindu Widows Remarriage Act 1856, also Act 15 of 1856, enacted on 26 July 1856, legalized the remarriage of Hindu widows in all jurisdictions of India under East India Company rule. It was drafted by Lord Dalhousie and passed by Lord Canning before the Indian Rebellion of 1857. It was the first major social reform legislation after the abolition of sati by Lord William Bentinck. To protect what is considered family honor and family property, upper caste Hindu society had long disallowed the remarriage of widows, even child and adolescent ones, all of whom were expected to live a life of austerity and abnegation. The Hindu Widows Remarriage Act of 1856 provided legal safeguards against loss of certain forms of inheritance for remarrying a Hindu widow. Though, under the Act, the widow forsook any inheritance due her from her deceased husband. Especially targeted in the Act were Hindu child widows whose husbands had died before consummation of marriage. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar was the most prominent campaigner. He petitioned the Legislative Council, but there was a counter petition against the proposal with nearly 4 times more signatures by Radha Kantodeb and the Dharma Sabha. But Lord Dalhousie personally finalized the bill, despite the opposition and it being considered a flagrant breach of Hindu customs as prevalent then. Let's take a look at the law. The preamble and sections 1, 2 and 5. Whereas it is known that by the law as administered in the civil courts established in the territories in the possession and under the government of the East India Company, Hindu widows with certain exceptions are held to be, by reason of their having been once married, incapable of contracting a second valid marriage, and the offsprings of such widows by any second marriage are held to be illegitimate and incapable of inheriting property. And whereas many Hindus believe that this imputed legal incapacity, although it is in accordance with established custom, is not in accordance with true interpretation of the precepts of their religion, and desire that the civil law administered by the courts of justice shall no longer prevent those Hindus who may he so minded from adopting a different custom in accordance with the dictates of their own conscience, and where it is just to relieve all such Hindus from this legal incapacity of which they complain, and the removal of all legal obstacles to the marriage of Hindu widows will tend to the promotion of good morals and to the public welfare. It is enacted as follows. Number 1. No marriage contracted between Hindus shall be invalid, and the issue of no such marriage shall be illegitimate, by reason of the woman having been previously married or betrothed to another person who was dead at the time of such marriage, any custom and any interpretation of Hindu law to the contrary notwithstanding. Number 2. All rights and interests which any widow may have in her deceased husband's property by way of maintenance or by inheritance to her husband or to his lineal successors or by virtue of any will or testamentary disposition conferring upon her without express permission to remarry, only a limited interest in such property, with no power of alienating the same, shall upon her remarriage seize and determine as if she had then died, and the next heirs of her deceased husband or other persons entitled to the property on her death shall thereupon succeed to the same. Number 3. Except as in the 3 preceding sections is provided, a widow shall not by reason of her remarriage forfeit any property or any right to which she would otherwise be entitled, and every widow who has remarried shall have the same rights of inheritance as she would have had such marriage been her first marriage. The Vice President of India, Venkaiah Naidu, said this on widow remarriage.
Some of the major problems faced by widows include social restriction on widow remarriages and denial of inherent rights, among others. It's really surprising if a man who becomes a widower, if he can remarry, what is the problem of a woman getting remarried after her husband's demise? There is no logic whatsoever. That's why I call this as a societal problem. There is a need for change of mindset. For that you need a powerful social movement also to educate the people and bring the change in the mindset. What is required is 2 things. One is the societal change of mindset. It is our duty. They are part of the society. Unfortunately, something has happened to them. So it is our duty to take care of them. That should be our pious responsibility. Share and care is the core of Indian philosophy. Share and care is the core of Indian philosophy. Keeping that in mind, you should care about these people who are vulnerable for a variety of reasons, not because of their mistake. It is because of misfortune.
Thank you for listening to this article on the Hindu Widows Remarriage Act 1856. For more such articles, install the UPSC Practice app from the App Store.